Every pro golfer you've ever seen hit a shot shifts their weight. Not pressure, shifts their weight in the golf swing. We're gonna show you how to do the same. Today's video, you're gonna learn why trying to avoid a weight shift is gonna be at your swing's own peril. Then we're gonna show you what happens in high level swings, what the pros do. Then of course, we're gonna show you how to do it. So I made it a point to differentiate between weight and pressure. There is absolutely a weight shift in golf swings at the highest level. Trying to avoid doing that, again, will cause you a lot of trouble because pressure is invisible. Unless you have force plates
or pressure mat or something.
Or pressure mat. Don't take pressure advice from someone who doesn't measure that every day.
No.
Okay, because they're guessing, they can't see it. But you can see your mass move. From that, you'll have an idea of a loose idea of where your pressure moves. So understanding your mass is super important. What do we see golfers trying not to do with their mass, with their weight?
They're deathly afraid of the sway or slide on both sides. And what they don't realize is there's some of that on both sides of the swing, backswing and downswing.
There has to be.
Right. So trying not to, they're trying to make a swing where they just kind of turn around a center point instead of letting this weight move in both directions, and it is a cause of a lot of bad swings.
I've been known to indulge at the dinner table on a few occasions.
Get in my belly!
Like fixing an overeating problem or a sweet tooth.
You can't just starve yourself.
You can't just stop eating altogether. So if you overslide, overly shift your weight, you're closer to the right amount than if you just trying to stop doing it at all.
Exactly right. There 100% has to be a weight shift. We've got what, $1 billion in earnings of tour players.
More than that now,
Every one of them shifts in the backswing, and every one of them makes more shift in the downswing. So trying to throw all of that out is definitely going to hurt your game.
Yeah, but there's a right way to do it and a wrong way to do it. So before we get into that, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. It helps us out a bunch. Also, leave us a comment in your swing. If this is something you struggle with, ask us questions. We'd be happy to help. If it's something else you struggle with, bring that up in the comments below. We'll make a video just for you. And if you want more free training, click on that first link in the pinned comment below. Let's talk about the right way to shift weight now.
So if I'm at a dress position, we'll just use an iron here to start with. You know, in the early backswing, there's an early shift. So
there is.
Like we said, we've seen so many good swings now. You can't unsee this stuff.
Right.
And they all
can't pretend it doesn't happen.
There's a lot of things they all do very similar, and those are the things we look for, right? We'll see what a lot of really good players do almost the same. Maybe we ought to think about doing that. And you see a early kind of slight shift away here with an iron. You might have an inch or so away from the target. And basically all that means is a little trigger towards the target and then just kind of stepping on your right foot. That moves the mass just a little bit to your trail side and gets the pressure too moving over there.
It's no different than, you know, preparing for a jump. If I'm trying to touch these lights, I wouldn't just try to go up. I would drop and then go up. Same thing with the towards and away. They put sprinters in the blocks so they can create that counter movement and really have something to push against. No different than the golf swing.
No, so this will help everybody watching this video. A little tiny shift toward the target and then just start to swing away. That takes care of the weight shift on the backswing. Once you hit that right leg brace where you kind of land on it and wind up against it, that's as much weight shift as you need in
We're talking about just a little less than the width of a golf ball on average. So it's more than zero, but it's not, you know, a driver's more than that.
Yeah.
But for a 7-iron, you know, it's the width of a golf ball. You'll be in the good window.
Yeah, and then, you know, as you start to finish the backswing here, as the pelvis is finishing its motion, you're just going to, as the hips continue to finish their turn, you're just going to come back to the middle, and we call that recentering. We came up with that a long time ago.
Just literally back to the center where you started.
Yeah, but you'll land there with the turn that you established on the backswing.
Right.
So you're back to where kind of 50-50 with your mass, right? The pressure's moving around. It's starting to go back this way. From there, the cleanest and most efficient way to make the rest of this shifting, we know that we got to get to there by impact, right? We just draw the line up from the ankle.
So we just do a hand's width or a club head's width right there off kind of your hip.
My goal is to get to there with this side of my pelvis. But the way to think about it is I'm away, I've recentered back to the middle. I'm going to feel like this leg is kind of stable, and I'm going to move my right side towards the target. it's going to come around. By doing that, it moves the center of the hips forward. And oh, by the way, when you move the center of the hips forward, you close the gap like you should.
Right.
The kiss of death is just to close the gap this way because it gets you too tilted back and puts you almost in an unplayable spot.
Yeah, I think for so many of us, right, in the golf swing, we grew up thinking this way. I think of, you know, sway or moving my weight as, okay, where do the sides of my pelvis go, right? That's bad, that's bad. You've got to think about the center of your pelvis. I'm going to move my center, just posting up on this leg and not shifting will move the center of my pelvis when I turn a little bit to the right. Now again, when you close this gap, moving the center of my pelvis to get my right side through, this left leg is going to go where it needs to go. I don't want to try to hold it back to spin. I want to get my right side by way of the center of my pelvis moving forward and bring my right side up to my left side. If this left side just shoots down the fairway, right can never catch up to it.
You're blocking yourself, basically.
You're blocking yourself, and you can get a lot of flippy, scoopy moves from that.
And that's that whole idea of like, if I tell somebody to shift their weight, well, there's a million ways to do that.
A million ways.
Right? So it's learning the details that you have to study at first, but once you learn them and understand them, it makes making the swing so much easier.
So think about the center of your body rather than the hip joints. Okay. What's a good drill for this?
So a good drill, you could stick an alignment rod in the ground here.
Yep.
Just outside your
So if
your
you're
left leg.
outside, you're practicing outside, just jam it back behind you so it's got an angle and you're not in the way of it. If you're inside, you can use a box or an alignment stick and just like a yoga block or something just to hold the stick in place.
And if you want to get real fancy, you can put another one here and give yourself about an inch, about a ball, right? So you've got some guardrails.
Exactly.
And I think the trick, you know, is just to kiss this guardrail on the right and kind of bounce off it in a way as you finish the top of the backswing. As this club is the farthest away from the target here, right? Target's that way. I'm going to be into the stick. And then as this goes over my head, I'm back to the middle, so I'm back off the stick. And then I'm going to feel like I'm going to let my trail side come around, and I'm going to get into this one without blasting through it. And I'm going to hit against the leg, and we've done 100 videos about stance width. That's why your feet need to be wider than your hips, because you're bracing into this leg. If you do that, you get real stable in here with your body as it's kind of turning and the club releases consistently. You're just going to hit so much better shots for it.
Yeah, and it's one of those drills where it's so much awareness based. Like, go through it at that pace you just did it first, so you can feel, okay, well, I've never been there, or I'm used to doing this, so it certainly feels different to have my trail side up involved now. Just creating the awareness. Everybody wants to know a feel for how to make the right movement. You don't know what it should feel like because you've never done it.
Yeah.
Let the movement teach you what it should feel like specific to you. Shaun and I can't tell you what this should feel like. No one can. Because we have no idea what your body is, what your history is. Do the movement, let the movement teach you the feel, not the other way around. Chasing a feel for the correct movement is backwards.
I've been saying this for a long time. I think I stole it from Jack Nicklaus. I was watching him help somebody. It was on a video years ago, and the golfer, he was showing him something. They said, that doesn't feel right. He's like, how would you know what it feels like? You've never done it right. I've said it a million times in lessons. How would you know if it feels wrong or not? You've never done it before and never done it the right way. Of course it's going to feel wrong to you because you haven't done it right. So like Mike said, learn the movements and then say, oh, that feels like I'm doing this, and then you got a chance.
Oh, and guess what? That feel's going to change in about 2 weeks if you keep doing it. So your feels will always be upgraded if they're always based on the real. Do that when you practice. Don't go searching endlessly for different feels because you will be told to feel all sorts of things that aren't going to help you out. You want to be able to do something that you can repeat, and learning the feel from the real is about the best way to do it.